Honorable Mr. Chairman, esteemed judges, and worthy opponents, good morning and welcome to our first 20th century history debate. Today, our resolution reads resolved, the federal drinking age should be lowered to the age of 18. Each speaker has 3 minutes to speak, and there will be a tap on the table when there are 15 seconds left in the speech. Our affirmative speakers are Ms. Sophia Collins, Ms. Emma Kenny-Pessia, Ms. Rose Lakena, and Ms. Heather Flokas. Our negative speakers are Ms. Kira Jean Frost, Ms. Kira Dorr, Ms. Emma Jackson, and Ms. Pana Rosanya. First, we will hear from Ms. Sophia Collins. Should I just start the timer?
When you're ready.
I would like to start by thanking you all for being here, my worthy opponents, colleagues, honorable judges, and Mr. Chairman. The federal drinking age should be lowered to the age of 18 for a number of reasons. The first is that 18-year-olds are legally considered to be adults in the United States and are given the responsibilities of an adult. At 18, citizens are given the right to vote in local and federal elections. They are trusted with making an informed and responsible decision that will affect the lives of not only themselves, but the people around them. At 18, people can also enlist themselves in the Army or Navy and go to war. They are considered mature enough to make that decision for themselves and risk their lives to ensure the safety and security of their country. Another reason is that 18-year-olds are constantly surrounded by other harmful substances or activities that are legalized, other than alcohol, that can be easily abused. At 18, people can get tattoos and body piercings without parental consent. They have the legal right to do with their bodies what they please, even though tattoos and piercings can lead to infections and have many other negative side effects on the body. Anyone over the age of 18 can legally purchase cigarettes and any tobacco products. Anyone over the age of 16 can smoke them. Studies on smokers show that nicotine causes immediate addiction, and these products take much less time to get addicted to than alcohol. These studies also show that they have detrimental effects on the body, such as lung cancer and other respiratory diseases. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 480,000 deaths per year in the United States are caused by cigarette or tobacco consumption, whereas just 80,000 deaths per year in the United States are caused by excessive alcohol consumption. So does it make sense that products that cause 6 times as many deaths per year are legalized and alcohol is not for these 18-year-olds? My last point is that there are no age laws prohibiting the purchase or use of caffeine products. People can start drinking coffee at any age and get addicted to it, as we can see when we walk into a Starbucks and it's full of tweens with their pumpkin spice mocha whatevers. Caffeine is also shown to have harmful long-term side effects, such as an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and insomnia. So, if the United States has decided to give 18-year-olds such important life responsibilities and such great exposure to a number of other harmful activities, why does the government believe it has the right to withhold the consumption of alcohol from what it already considers to be mature and responsible adults? Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. We will now hear from Ms. Emma Kenny-Pessia. Mr. Chairman, honorable judges, and worthy opponents.
I'm going to hold you there for a second.
Yes.
Speakers alternate.
What's that?
Okay.
That's it.
So it's Kira's first.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, I had KJ first, no?
So it goes affirmative, negative, affirmative, negative,
Sorry about that. We will now hear from Ms. Kira Jean Frost.
Mr. Chairman, honorable judges, and worthy opponents, the alcohol drinking age should not be lowered from 21 to 18. Drinking at a young age can cause psychological effects on minors, both long-term and short-term. Early drinking can affect the brain development, which is essential to them in later life. Short-term effects from low doses of alcohol cause poor concentration, slow reflexes, reduced coordination, and slower brain activity. Drinking larger doses of alcohol can lead to more short-term effects that can be a threat. For example, drinking can lead to poor decisions, which include drinking and driving, sexual activity, and violence. Then the more alcohol consumed, there are more other effects on the body, like breathing difficulties, alcohol poisoning, coma, and possible death. Not only are there short-term effects, but there are also long-term psychological effects. Alcohol can have an effect on a person's daily life. This would include unintentional car crashes, increased family problems, and intentional firearm usage, sexual assault, and domestic violence. The more alcohol consumed the more possible risk to your body is. These effects would include high blood pressure, liver disease, nerve damage, cancer in the mouth or throat, or permanent damage to the brain. Note that there are plenty more other risk factors. Drinking affects the development of an adolescent's brain. The teenager will have poor impulse control, leading to risky behaviors. Alcohol use at a young age can also affect the way teenagers interact with their peers. During adolescent years, emotions increase, but because of the use of alcohol, the ability to regulate these emotions and one's behaviors is still developing. The brain is a very complicated concept. All regions of the brain do not grow at the same time. For example, a region in the brain that controls emotions matures in early adolescence, while the region that controls decision-making grows more constant, resulting in age of experience. The use of alcohol would slow down or even interfere with the growth of vital regions in the brain. Alcohol causes short and long-term psychological effects on minors, which is why the drinking age should not be lowered from 21 to 18.
Thank you, Kurajin. And now we will hear from Ms. Emma Kenny-Pesia. Hello again, Mr. Chairman, honorable judges, and worthy opponents. This is Rachel Fiji. Among other things, she is a soccer player, a fan of Beyonce, and an avid wearer of Converse sneakers. She's a pre-nursing major at Indiana University, hoping to follow in her mother's footsteps and eventually become a doctor. 9 out of 10 underage drinkers consume an excessive amount of alcohol in a very short period of time, binge drink, and Rachel is part of that 90%. Her mother, Angie, was part of the 99% of parents who believe that children do not binge drink. Angie is now a grieving mother, and her daughter will never get to play club soccer, wear the Indiana University cap and gown, or join a sorority. Rachel died on August 23rd during a bout of binge drinking. She did not even get to attend her first class. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution before us today is that the federal drinking age should be lowered from the age of 21 to the age of 18. One of the many benefits of this resolution is that allowing people to drink from ages 18 to 20 would decrease unsafe drinking habits. Prohibiting alcohol consumption in supervised environments like bars or restaurants encourages 18 to 20-year-olds to seek out covert venues like house parties. In her case, she attended one of the many parties on campus in a house that her friends had rented. This is where she was found, lying unconscious at the bottom of stairs by paramedics the next day. Besides causing 18 to 20-year-olds to flock to unsupervised locales, the inaccessibility of alcohol makes it more desirable, and when underage drinkers get their hands on it, they binge drink. As previously stated, a national survey from the CDC found that about 90% of alcohol consumed under the age of 21 in the US is in the form of binge drinks. Binge drinking is associated with many health problems, including falls, burns, drowning, firearm injuries, sexual assault, domestic violence, alcohol poisoning, STDs, unintended pregnancy, children born with fetal alcohol syndrome, hypertension, stroke, and CV disease. In addition, liver disease, neurological damage, sexual dysfunction, and poor control of diabetes. In addition, binge drinking costs. Research by the National Institute of Health shows that the United States lost $223.5 billion in 2006 from losses. They further concluded that the economic impact of excessive alcohol consumption in the US is approximately $746 per person.
To return to the case of Rachel Fiji, there is now an awareness campaign put in place to emphasize the importance of calling 911 in an emergency. Rachel's mother, Angie, found that Rachel's friends hesitated to call 911 because they did not want to be cited for underage drinking. Lowering the drinking age to 18 would reduce the number of underage deaths or injuries due to the fear of legal consequences if they sought medical aid. Rachel represents just one face out of the many who have died out of fear for seeking medical aid. In 2001, a 17-year-old died after being punched at an unsupervised house party in Westchester, New York. The other teens present said they didn't get help because they feared the consequences of being caught drinking by parents or school officials. In April of 2012, 15-year-old Michael called 911 for his friend who was experiencing alcohol poisoning. Instead of being applauded for his efforts that resulted in the saving of his friend's life, he was arrested and charged with unlawful possession or consumption of alcohol by a minor. Although Michael prevented a fatality, the DuPage County State Attorney's Office told him that if his friend had died, he could have been charged with manslaughter. Not only does the minimum legal drinking age of 21 discourage endangered teens to call for medical help, but it also discourages them to call an over 21 driver. It is for this reason that alcohol is involved in 31% of teenage car accident fatalities. Judges, I urge you to support the affirmative resolution that the federal drinking age should be lowered from the age of 21 to the age of 18. As it is, we are perpetuating a taboo about alcohol that drives teens to pursuing dangerous, unsupervised venues. We are damning them to the health risks associated with binge drinking and placing them in danger of drunk driving-related motor vehicle accidents. But above all, we put this defunct law above the safety of 18 to 20-year-olds. The statistics and case studies show a need for immediate change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Emma. We will now hear from Ms. Ponorosalia.
Honorable Chairman, honorable judges, worthy opponents. Our second argument against lowering the drinking age is that of impaired decision-making. Alcohol impairs judgment, and teens and young adults cannot afford bad, life-altering decisions in this day and age. Our first contention is that alcohol impairs decision-making regarding sexual activity. Under the influence of alcohol, people cannot think clearly and are not in complete control of their body, making it easy for other people to take advantage of them. According to the Duke University survey, 70% of college students have engaged in sexual activity primarily as a result of being intoxicated or have had sex that they would not have had if they were sober. Alcohol also increases the chance of rape. In Duke University, the same survey found that 90% of rapes on campus occurred while alcohol was in use. Also, it was found that 1 in 12 of the male students have committed acts that meet the legal definition of rape or acquaintance rape. Alcohol can also lead to STDs and other AIDS and herpes. 60% of college women who are infected were in fact intoxicated at the time of sexual activity with the infected person. It was also found that sex under the influence of alcohol can cause unplanned pregnancies, which by itself is a problem in the teenage community. Alcohol also impairs judgment, leading to unsafe decisions. Drunk drivers go behind the wheel believing that it is safe for them to drive. Even walking is hard for people who are intoxicated. It was found that roughly 1/3 of the pedestrians 16 and older in the year 2000 were intoxicated at the time of their death. It was found by the Foundation for Advancing Alcohol Responsibility that 60%, 2/3 of the teenagers in the U.S., boys and girls, admit that they or someone they have known have made regrettable decisions while under the influence of alcohol. It was also found by this organization that students have said 45% of them, or someone they know, have said things to friends that they have regretted, and 4 out of 10 have engaged in fights while drinking. Our last contention is that alcohol is a depressant and can lead to rash decisions such as suicide. Fox News' Alex Kreese conducted a large study and found that nearly 1/4 of the U.S. victims of suicide were legally intoxicated at their time of death. These victims, more than half of them, did not have a problem with alcohol or have alcoholism in their history, nor did they have prior suicide-related behaviors, such as attempts or ideation. According to Dr. Mark Kaplan of Portland State University, These individuals were responding to a major life stress and crisis who engaged in drinking with the firearm present, and within a few hours took their lives and became disinhibited by the alcohol. Depressed teenagers, especially those in college, try to cope through the use of alcohol and find themselves more depressed. And with this, I end my statement with the 3 contentions that alcohol impairs decisions regarding sexual activity, leads to unsafe judgments, and can even lead to suicide. Thank you for your time.